Okay, we want to talk about a couple of ways that we can use everything we've been working on in real life situations. And so here's a quick example of that. And in this case, we're going to use a shadow to measure the length of something that may be too tall to actually measure. So in this example, I'm going to start out with a tree. Let's make this a tree here. And we're going to say that I want to know the measurement of this tree, how big this tree is all the way from the bottom up to the top. And so here's my tree. And I can't get a measuring tape up to the top of that tree. But I do know that if I've got the sun shining down, that tree is going to cast a shadow on the ground. And because I can actually measure the ground, but I can't measure the tree, I can think about this shape as being kind of an imaginary triangle. So what I can do to measure this tree is I'm going to measure something that I actually know the height of. So for this example, let's use a yardstick, which is 3 feet long. So let's call this 3 feet long. And I'm going to stick that in on the ground as well. And just like my tree, this will also cast a shadow. And let's say that this casts a 2-foot shadow. And then I can use my yardstick and come over to my tree and measure the shadow that my tree has created. And let's say that this has created a 20-foot shadow. With this information here, I can find out exactly how tall my tree is. I'm going to do that by using my scale factor for my similar shapes. So for my first shape, I want to know how I got from the bottom, remember that's an imaginary triangle over here, of my small triangle, which was 2 feet, to the bottom of my big triangle, which was 20 feet. And so I would say 2 feet times a blank is equal to 20. And in this case, I know that 2 times 10 is going to get me to 20, so I know that my scale factor is 10. If I've done that and I've identified my scale factor, I can use my other side of my shape, 3 feet, times the same scale factor, which we said was 10. So I'm going to use that same measurement of 10. And that is going to give me the height of my tree, or in this case, 30 feet. So without being able to actually measure that tree, I can indirectly measure that tree using the shadow that it casts and the shadow of an object that I do know the measurements of. This is all just practice with our scale factor. We have to find our scale factor and multiply both sides by our scale factor. There is a very practical way that you may be able to use this outside of our math class.